This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going around the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up to
Oh my god! Oh, big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Welcome one and welcome all to SimSpeed TV for round 2 of Aussie Online Gaming's brand new series, Fixed Indy Australia. We had a fantastic debut for the series last week at Road America, but now we go to our first oval round of the season at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, just outside St. Louis in Illinois. Amazing that you can see the Great St. Louis Arch and the city of St. Louis from the racetrack. But of course the drivers won't be focusing on that. They'll be focusing on just trying to survive this first oval round of the season at a very tight and demanding oval circuit. And to bring it to you all live here on SimSpeed TV is myself, Reese Gardner, and Jay Kennedy alongside me in the commentary box. Jay, Gateway is a fixture on the real-life Indy Car schedule, and it certainly seems to be popular among the drivers here in Fixed Indy Australia too.
Yeah, 100%. We were probably a little surprised to see how many have turned out tonight. It's great. The number of drivers that we've ended up seeing. 35 cars here tonight, which just goes off the huge success of last week, which was an incredible round of racing. And I think all the drivers, regardless of where they finished, whether they were at the front or at the back of the field, had an absolute ball and loved it. And great to see that we've got a successful IndyCar series on our hands. 35 drivers, as we said. 75 laps, though, for the drivers. It's going to be a very, very tough ask around this bizarre-shaped oval circuit.
Yes, indeed. Very tight turns 1 and 2, turns 3 and 4 a lot more open, but both ends of the circuit have the same amount of banking, 11 degrees to be exact. It's a pretty flat oval, which is pretty much what you want when it comes to open wheelers.
Yeah, exactly right. You don't want to have too much. You want to have consistent angle is probably the better way to describe it. You don't necessarily want to have the high banking then down to flat. You want to have it rather consistent. So that's one of the features about this track, which really does suit the Indy Car at this place. One thing that will be interesting is NASCAR going there this year. It's going to be interesting to see how they go with the lowest level series have raced here before, but to see Indy Cars there later in this year will be very, very interesting. The eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series will race there this year as well, so that will be hugely entertaining. But tonight, Indy Cars around this place, it's a tough track, mainly because it's very, very tough and punishing on tyres.
Yes, with the obviously low amounts of banking, also just the sheer amount of force going through these tyres. As you can see, they are running pretty high downforce setup at this track. At the shorter ovals that IndyCar goes to, they still run a downforce package quite similar to that which they run on road courses. So the drivers, of course, will be dealing with a lot of grip, a lot of load being pushed through the tyres, but you do have to look after those tyres. And considering how tough this track is, cautions might be a thing here tonight in ample amounts. But the drivers will be focusing on that pit strategy. Between laps 25 and 50 is what we're expecting the pit window to be. On a full fuel tank of about 70 litres, you will be able to make it 50 laps in this session. So it's quite a big window here for drivers to play with.
The other part to that, though, is they've only got one spare set of tyres sitting in the pits waiting for them, so they can't come in every caution, grab new tyres and go again. They've only got that one set sitting there in the bank, so planning the right time to pit, planning the right time to take those tyres is going to be very, very crucial. That side of it does open up the strategy quite a lot, not necessarily the fact we've got a large window, but the fact that there's only one set of tyres waiting in the pits changes the thought process around how you actually tackle this race.
Yeah, and how you race the drivers around you as well. Do you try to go hell for leather in the opening stages, try and make up track position, or do you look after the tyres, make sure that you save that second set more towards the end of the race where you'll be able to maximise the amount that you actually use them? And pit entry as well is going to be quite a difficult thing to tackle as well. Having to come off the banking onto the apron and trying to slow down and turn at the same time in an Indy car is tough at the best of times.
Definitely is. It's not the easiest pit entry. Also difficult pit exit, as we saw when we first went to live shots at the circuit. So getting pit entry, pit exit right, if, with that very big if, because I think you and I are both expecting there to be a couple of cautions throughout, but if we do see green flag stops, being able to actually get in the pits is probably going to be the key to a victory. If someone in the lead can't quite get into the pit lane properly, or miss times how to get into the pits or when to get into the pits, it's going to make things very, very difficult. As you can see, the racing was rather difficult there. I thought I was flicking to the right camera or the right car, but I wasn't. Have to work out who's who in these practice sessions sometimes. Only 90 seconds though until we actually get into racing.
Yes, and I hope that those 90 seconds pass fast because, oh dear, that might be something you expect here in the race. They are racing at night here at Gateway, which does mean that the cars are on a bit of a knife edge in terms of grip loss. And this is the way the grid is going to look. Cameron Dance, the only driver getting into the 24s in qualifying. He's very good on ovals and IndyCar, is Cam. So hopefully he'll be able to make up for what wasn't the best round last time out at Road America. Job Stewart, who won round one, is going to be starting on the front row alongside him. Then we got Sebastian Flock in third place, also for Pursuit Sim Racing, joining Job Stewart there. Daniel Yeaman series administrator here at Aussie Online Gaming. He was in race control last round, but he's getting behind the wheel for round 2. And Cory Mcfarlane, who took pole position at Road America, will be starting down in 5th alongside David Coleman. Then we've got Thomas Hinz, who finished 2nd last round, starting alongside Lachlan Capel, who had to put in one heck of a fight back at Road America. He'll be starting a bit further up this time. Hopefully he'll be able to hold on to that as Bailey Frid and Daniel Stevens start alongside each other in the top 10, with Matt Distel and Blake Delaney rounding out the top 12.
Yeah, then from there we go down to Chris Weitzel and James Shepherd on row 7. Row 8, Sam Blacklock and Matt Bowler. And then we got Ben Johnson and Dalton Green on row number 9. Row 10 will be Michael Whiting and Brady Carr. Jamie Dyke will start from position number 21. Matt Danson, someone who we weren't sure how he was going to go, being a true oval expert, we thought he might have been up a little bit higher, but he's going to start from 22nd. Caleb Hydes and Stephen Grimer will start on row number 12, just behind.
And Bo Albert making his debut in this season, joining his teammates Sam Blacklock and Matt Danson at Altus Esports, but not the best of qualifying runs. 7/10 off where he was in practice, though he would have had draft assistance in the practice session. Blair Bowler's going to start alongside him, with Brady Baldwin and Simon Mazzomo on row 14. Rounding out the top 30 is going to be Nathan Norman and Tristo Yelland, with the 155 of Isaac Edwards sharing row 16 with Tyson Broad. Then we've got Adrian Vlock, Jason Close, and Michael Taliancic rounding out the field. Close and Taliancic did not take part in qualifying, so they'll be hoping to make positions up here in the race session. And we've got 9 drivers on Zoom tonight. On the top row, there's Bo Albert, Isaac Edwards, and Sam Blacklock left to right. Simon Mazzomo, Daniel Stevens, and Cameron Dance in the middle there. And down at the bottom, we have Daniel Yeaman, Thomas Hinz, and Matthew Bowler, with his biggest fan watching over him.
Quite a big fan, and cool too. Bo Albert will give us a little bit of pedal cam action as well from his view, so that should be an interesting watch as we get ready to go. From memory, there's 2 laps under caution, but could be wrong, so we better double check that and get back in and ready to watch this race. As we said, 75 laps, so it's the sort of race length where it can go really, really fast or be very, very painful, just based on the number of cautions. If we see it run fairly caution-free, this race will fly by, but cautions can be quite painful here, so fingers crossed we do see that green flag run.
Yeah, fingers crossed over here as well in my part of the comms booth. Certainly going to be an interesting start as well. Once the pace car pulls into the pits, it's going to be Cameron Dance who has control over the field, and especially on ovals, getting a good start is particularly important. If you miss that cue from the drivers ahead of you by an instant of a second, you may very well end up swallowed up by the rest of the field. That's what Joe Stewart is going to be thinking about here. It is only 1 formation lap. The pace car pulls in, and now Cameron Dance has control of the field. When does he decide to go? Does he wait all the way until the green flag? It looks like he will, and it's a pretty even start up at the front, but immediately to the inside, I saw Bailey Frid dive as the yellow flag is out immediately. There's been a huge wreck at the back of the field, and that's pretty much the entire second half of the field here involved in that. Matt Danson, Tristo Yelland, Isaac Edwards, Brady Baldwin, Brady Carr, Mike Taliancic, Ben Johnson, Simon Mazzomo, and Caleb Hydes all involved in that. That was a huge crash. What on earth went on?
Saw that Danson was flying through the air, so we'll focus on him to start with, but we'll see if we can pick up where this started. And there's a little bit of a check up on that inside line, and then oh wow, Ben Johnson sort of got hip checked a little bit, and that whole outside row ended up in all sorts of dramas, hasn't it?
Yes, indeed. There was quite the check up. Sam Blacklock up ahead. Actually, Blacklock had to check up with Matt Distel in front of him, and that's what set off the whole mess.
Huge incident, that one. So a few drivers that have ended up in the pits used their fast repair early, which doesn't bode well for their race long term, but the fact that it's there will help a lot of drivers out, and that will mean that we'll see quite a few drivers continue on. Single file restarts as well. That will help as well.
Yeah, indeed it should. And one thing this is also helping is fuel strategy for the drivers. Of course, once again, it's not as important as the tyres, but the longer you spend under caution, the more fuel you have to use for the rest of the race, and the less amount of time you're going to have to spend stopped in the pits topping the car up when you eventually do decide to take your stop.
Like we've had 11 cars in the pits.
Makes sense there.
A couple of drivers that have also had black flags cleared as well from issues from that start. Of course, some drivers may not be aware that you can't pass on the inside before the start-finish line, and there was a couple of drivers that did sneak down to the inside lane to avoid the incident, so potentially that could have been an issue that's being sorted out by Dan Yeaman and a few others in race control.
Yeah, wondering if Bailey Frid was one of the drivers who was nabbed by that. Be interesting to see. But Cameron Dance now not under much threat for the lead, with Job Stewart just behind him now, coming on to what we hope is going to be the restart. Simon Mazzomo, Adrian Vlock, Tyson Broad, Jamie Dyke actually has lost his front wing. You can see it there, and it looks like he's having some troubles with his left front as well. He might have to bring that thing into the pits if he's unaware that he has damage. Yeah, that left front is very loose on the suspension. Hopefully he doesn't take the green flag with that. Well, we should see him pull into the pits momentarily. Actually, it looks like he's avoiding going in. Not too sure what the thinking behind that is, Jamie. Oh, there we go. He was a bit late.
Probably thinking I don't want to pit to end up a lap down, but probably realised I've got no choice. It's better to go a lap down now and try and get it back than to end up in trouble later on in the race.
Yeah, or end up in trouble on the restart with a car that heavily damaged.
100%, because you take out the whole field if you were starting ahead of someone as well. So we should see the lights out on the pace car, and it should mean that these guys get waved by. Lights are out. Fingers crossed they do get waved by. Like they are.
Well, this is going to be an interesting restart then if that doesn't end up happening. Oh, actually, there we go. Blair Bowler taking the cue. He will be followed by Chris Weitzel and Tyson Broad. Broad's teammate, Adrian Vlock, and Mazzomo as well. So now the lapped cars have pretty much been cleared, with Stephen Grimmer making his way past. Also got coming up through the field Caleb Hides to come up to the rear of the field as well. And it looks to me like that's just about everyone who has been between the leaders and the pace car. It looks like Hides going for the lane as well, potentially.
Probably just using it as another opportunity to top off a dash of fuel. Already one lap down, so try and do something a little bit different in regards to strategy as Dance gets ready to restart. Interesting, you can tell that Dance has raced here before, hugging that outside wall, trying to make sure he gets a great momentum onto the front straight.
Well, here we go then. The green flag will fly in just a couple of seconds. And there we go. We are racing once again at Gateway. Single file, nice clean start from just about everyone. Job Stewart, though, under threat from Daniel Yeaman. Had a look at the inside into turn one, but nothing going on there. Black flags cleared in race control. Thomas Hinds getting an excellent run around the outside. He's just nabbed the place from Matt Distel in car number 52. And now the drivers will have to try and get into a rhythm here. There's an awful lot of rotation that goes on in the mid-corner around this circuit, so the drivers will certainly be aware of that, trying their best to work around it, because it's in the name of the series, it's fixed setup.
Yeah, running the standard iRacing setup, so guys that have had the opportunity to race this week would have already had a few laps under their belt with this setup. Of course, running the exact same setup at the official series races. We've got another caution, and it looks like it's Dalton Green who's found himself up against the inside wall.
And it looks like that was all by himself. Coming into turn 1, the rear end got light, and he did well to recover it actually, but he did get a little tap from behind from Blair Bowler, which has taken out the right rear suspension. There is the incident, and you'll see the hit. Bam, there we go. Rear suspension gone.
And that little hit was what actually brought out the caution there, because the spin wasn't enough to bring out the caution, but that secondary little hit was enough at the point of when he spun, was out just on the racing surface, so that was enough to bring out the caution. So caution number 2, the end lap 8 of 75. This feels like it might be a little bit of a long one, but same breath, only one spare car for everyone. One fast repair means that it might start to taper out a little bit. We'll get a green flag run in the middle, and then maybe an exciting end once everyone goes at it once again right at the end with no more cars left, no more tyres left, pushing hard to try and get the win.
Well, let's recap positions gained and lost in those basically a single lap's worth of racing that we got so far. Cameron Dance and Job Stewart, they still hold on to the top 2 positions. Daniel Yeaman and Cory Mcfarlane have both gained 1. Sebastian Flock losing 2 places to both of those drivers. David Coleman maintaining 6th, with Bailey Frid gaining 2. Dan Stevens gaining 1. Thomas Hins down 3. Not the best of starts there for car 52. Sam Blacklock, though, making up 4 positions, which he'll certainly be happy with. You have to go a bit further down to see big position gainers. Bo Albert has managed to avoid the carnage that has happened so far. He has gained 9 positions. Chris Weitzel down 4, Matt Danson up 4, Tyson Broad has gained 13, Blair Bowler up 6, and the biggest gainer in the field is Mike Taliancic. Remember, he started right in the last grid position, and he's now in 21st, up 14. Simon Mazzomo up 6, Adrian Vlock up 10. Stephen Grimmer has amazingly maintained his position now that he's taken that spare car. But when you go further down to the rear of the field, it's quite a sad story to see, with Michael Whiting down 7, Brady Carr down 9, Jamie Dyke down 10, Dalton Green down 14, Ben Johnson down 16, with Caleb Hydes at a stop in the pit lane, and Jason Close having a network issue. He is now out of the session.
Yeah, so Close was going to start at the back of the field. He's having those issues during qualifying and ended up missing the start, unfortunately, so his issues look like they've taken him out of the race. Ben Johnson had a huge pit stop time after his issue, and it's put him 2 laps down. Brady Baldwin back, so from 25th to 25th down to 32nd. Those guys are all 1 lap down. Johnson down 2 laps, but the top 24 still on the lead lap, as we're seeing Reimer moving forward through the field for some reason. Just gone and gained a whole heap of spots, and now he's realised, hang on, I need to slow down.
I think he might have gotten the wrong call from his spotter, maybe. Not too sure. Well, he's going to filter back through then. And in terms of the pace car lights, they are out, so we will be going green at the end of this lap. And Cameron Dance, for him, it will be business as usual. He hasn't had anyone in front of him to stymie him so far in this race. We're already coming up to about a 1/7 of the way through this 75-lap race. Hopefully we don't get too many more cautions and we get some actual green flag racing.
You can see a few discussions going on. I do know that we've got a few drivers that are all on Discord together, and the discussion between all of them is pit strategy. It has been for the last 45 minutes before we started the race, so I was already thinking about when is the right time to pit, how many laps we get to before they come in and get that new set of tyres to get ready to go green for the 3rd time. Across the last a bit longer than a lap and a half.
Well, let's see when Cameron Dance decides to go. He's waited until the green flag on every run so far. And it looks looks like he's done the same again. There's a bit of a concertina in the midfield. Straight down to the inside was Matt Bowler. He might get a penalty for passing on the inside as the 3 widen to turn 1 between Whitesell, Albert and Shepherd. The midfield's certainly a hive of activity at the moment, but it is on for 3rd place. Daniel Yeaman under big threat here from Cory Mcfarlane, who's trying around the outside of the final corner. My goodness, fantastic pass there. Brilliant stuff.
And to make it even more extreme, he had a little slide through the mid-corner as he put the power down and somehow was able to manage that slide. Stan Stevens and Thomas Hinz have both just lost spots to Sam Blacklock, who's charging through the field. So Blacklock's up to 9th now. Big mover. Tyson Broad still gaining spots back in the field as well. He's now into, where's that, 16th position.
Good stuff there from Tyson Broad as we see car number 16, James Shepherd, bring his satellite racing machine into the pits. And all things are looking very leery for about 7th, 8th and 9th. Sam Blacklock still continuing his charge and trying his best to work his way around David Coleman and Lachlan Capel as Bailey Fridd and Sebastian Flock still hold station there in 3rd and 4th, just up ahead. Good run so far. But Cameron Dance is starting to come under some pressure now from Job Stewart for the lead of the race. Job has really got on it here now that we are up to racing speed and completing laps, but oh, just like that. Oh man, I think commentators cursed it. We got another caution.
Trying to work out who that was. Possibly Matt Bowler. Potentially. We'll have a little look on the replay and we'll see if we can work out what's happened.
Yeah, I'm not seeing... Oh yeah, Matt Bowler spinning out of turn 1. Looks like just getting on the power, the rear end got light and around he went, coming to a stop on the racing surface. Of course, that will bring out the caution, but fortunately, no other drivers involved in that.
Coming in to probably change a set of tyres and a change of underpants.
Yeah, there we go, up on the jacks.
Yep. Although in saying that, the fuel does only get put in the car when the car is up on the jack, so they may not be taking that set of tyres, but likely that's going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a new set of tyres was on that number 12 with the large amount of scrubbing done in that spin. This has been a good run for Cory Mcfarlane. Held on to the top 5 through the first couple of cautions. And now he is right on the back of our top 2, and he seemed very strong on that restart when he passed Daniel Yeaman, so I'm expecting him to make life difficult for Job Stewart and Cameron Dance up in the top 2 places.
100%. We saw McFarland post-race last week. He was complaining that he got a little bit of under-tray damage, and that was why his pace dropped off and had to use all his push-to-passes early on. But this week, he will be trying to make sure he doesn't get any damage early. I mean, if you're getting damage in these, you're going to notice a speed difference immediately, but for his sake, I hope we see the pace that we saw out of him early on last week. It was a very, very different style of racing, but talent still finds its way to the front, doesn't it? We've still got the same core group of guys at the front tonight as what we saw last week at Road America.
Indeed. The pursuit guys are certainly right on it in IndyCar, it seems, with those 3 positions there in the top 10. Sam Blacklock, though, with that excellent run before this caution came out, now up into the top 10. He's in 9th right now, up 6 places, and really flying the flag for Altus Esports at the moment. As we get wave arounds. That was Brady Baldwin that made his way around. Isaac Edwards has been waved around, as well as Dalton Green, Michael Whiting, Nathan Norman, Jamie Dyke, Tristo Yelland. Got one of the drop bear cars in the pits there, Brady Carr.
Tyson Broad and Simon Mazzomo also just came in for a quick splash of fuel, 4-second pit stop, so fuel only. Takes around about 7 seconds to change tyres, to do fuel and tyres, so 4 seconds would say that that's just fuel-only pit stop. Interesting that all the guys there ran it right to the inside, almost half in the pit entry lane. So some little strategy games already being played, some little mind games being played with all the drivers. That bowler just been waved by the pace car, now showing that he's on the lead lap ahead of everyone.
That might be a bit of a mistake. Bowler slowing it right down as he realizes what's going on here. Obviously, race control will be looking to sort that out as soon as possible. Don't want anyone gaining positions unfairly here. That might translate into an end of line for Matt Bowler, potentially.
Yeah, that will be what happens here. For that, everything's fair. It's slotted back into right position, and of course, remember he brought out the caution as well, so getting himself ahead of the field and a lap ahead of everyone would be an extreme penalty to get for bringing out the caution. Most oval racing series, if you bring out the caution, you're forced to the end of the line anyway.
Well, there we go. Matt Bowler at a crawl as we get our next slew of waiver rounds. Brady Carr, James Shepherd and Ben Johnson. And the caution has been extended as a result of this slight glitch in proceedings. There's now 2 laps to green when the drivers cross the line next. So we'll get one more lap here with the lights on the pace car as we review our schedule here. It's very oval heavy, this schedule. We go to Las Vegas next week and then to Richmond with then Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the next road course race will be at Motegi before we take a week off and go back to Pocono and Watkins Glen to finish off the season. I really like this schedule, and I think it's good that it's as oval heavy as it is, because, you know, it definitely gives the drivers a bit more of a chance to show what they can do in this style of racing.
Well, the other part to that as well is it's great to have so many ovals on the schedule. If we're going to have a mixed schedule going forward as well, it'd be great to make sure that drivers are interested in racing the ovals. So having a few extra ovals, percentage-wise, it's a little bit more in favour of oval over road. But the week off as well will be when we resume V8 Scop's support series as well. So very, very cool that we've got that returning on Friday night. So the Fixed Indy series will take a break when we've got V8 Scop supports, and we're on each and every other Friday night.
It's going to be fantastic to see. Got a great schedule on SimSpeed TV here in 2022. Looking forward to the amount of racing we've got to go, but we do have green flag racing again here at Gateway, and it's been a slightly better start for Cory Mcfarlane. He does not get the opportunity to get by Job Stewart into turn 1.
Chris Whitesell took a huge sweep. Oh, is that Hins? Oh, Matt Distel going off into the inside wall. We're going to stay green though because he's off the racing surface. No, we are yellow.
There we go. Distel came back onto the racetrack, crawled back onto it after hitting the wall, and once again that's a case of a driver losing the rear end of the car by themselves, and it's that transition from the banking onto the back stretch here that got Matt Distel in the end. Rears spun up and around he went. It would have been nice to have stayed green, but the car was just rolling there onto the racetrack, and I think Distel forgot to hold the brakes.
Yeah, if he had held the brakes there, it may have kept us from going back under caution. But as you said, the car just sort of unloaded as it came up over the rise from the banking to narrow out, and I'm wondering if he couldn't stop as well. Reese has just sort of got that little bit of an uphill to sort of help him, because he's got no front wheels connected to the ground at all.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll take back my earlier remark in that case. I mean, you put any form of suspension damage on these cars and, yeah, you have basically zero contact patch and you can't really do much to save it. But, well, ho-hum, back onto caution laps, and we're seeing one driver in the pits. Yes, actually. pit window does seem to be open. We've got Blake Delaney in the lane. We've got Mike Taliancic and Adrian Vlock making pit stops at the moment.
Taliancic's stop looks like it is his scheduled pit stop, taking tyres. See if that is the case. Of course, everyone has a spare set of tyres. They don't have to take them, but even if we do have 8 or 9 caution periods, you still won't have enough fuel to make it home. So everyone will still have to come in for fuel. There's no way around that. Much as some guys are absolutely clutching it in 6th gear under this caution. And also for those wondering as well, we are running with iRacing caution, so all automated. Race control has no say on when the cautions come out. Purely up to iRacing, which keeps it fair, keeps it balanced, and keeps it even. That one there, it would have been cool if we didn't have a caution, but in the same breath, unfair to Matt if he didn't get the caution when other drivers have had it come out for them. That's why the cautions come out when they do. It's consistent for each and every driver.
That's it. And I just had a thought when you were talking about fuel. Considering how many cautions we've had so far, if the cautions continue as they are, and drivers that haven't come into the pits yet, might they be considering potentially under-fueling the car at the pit stop?
Possibly. Definitely an option. Hoping that there's more cautions, yep. Definitely is something that can happen. Interesting to see as well. We talked last week about the push to pass. Notice on the dash there is no option for push to pass this week, so we can't even tell what number that is because they cannot run it in the oval races. So we'll see the push to pass return when we get to Motegi in a few weeks, which is going to be really cool. That's going to be an awesome race. The one I'm looking forward to the most, though, I think Pocono, always underrated in the Indy Car.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been doing some extra commentary work with our friends over at the Global Sim Racing channel, calling the Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series. They raced at Pocono just a couple of days ago, and it was a fantastic race. Think about how good it is in trucks. Think about it in IndyCar as well. Always brilliant to see racing there in real life as the green flag flies, and that is a great start for Cory Mcfarlane, but he won't be able to get by Job Stewart before the line, and they're going to go 3 wide to turn 1. No, 2 wide. Job Stewart goes for it versus Cameron Dance. Can the number 6 hold the outside line? Stewart got a little bit of a slide on, lost the grip, so Cam Dance is back into the lead, and that's the loss of momentum there for our round 1 winner. And Cory Mcfarlane, he thought about going to the inside, but had to compromise it. That's going to put him into the clutches of Daniel Yeaman for 3rd place. Can Daniel get that 3rd back? He's back in his starting position of 4th, but looks like he's going to back off for now as the caution comes out once again. There's been a big incident on the front straight. Tristo Yelland caught the curb in the final turn, spinning around and taking another car with him, and that was Mike Taliancic.
See if we can pick up exactly what happened here.
And poor Matt Distil collected it as well, an innocent victim there.
Yeah, Distil's just come out of the pits after using his fast repair as well, so Tristo, as you said, just hit the curb on the inside there. They're inviting to touch, but they offer 0 grip, unsettle the car. No, there's Distil. After just getting his fast repair from that previous caution, it's involved again. But Taliancic, I don't think he could have done anything there, could he?
No, I'm not too sure he could have. We'll see on board, yeah. He was already on the way out of the corner. The car would already have been loaded up, so we couldn't have gone to the inside. And there is Distil up ahead of him after collecting that incident. Both front wheels gone for Mike Taliancic and Matt Distil. No surprise that he has disconnected from the session after that. And that's going to be our 3rd retirement of the night.
Unfortunate for Taliancic. He probably could have got around the spinning car of Tristo, but there was a car on his outside there already, so he couldn't really commit. He just didn't know where he could go or what he could do, and unfortunate incident. And yeah, we find ourselves back under caution again. Looking at tyres. We know the guys that haven't pitted, obviously, tyres. Ones that have pitted. So we got Brady Carr. He looks like he's used his tyres. his second set. Michael Whiting's used his. Ben Johnson, probably not. Dalton Green possibly has. He pitted on lap 1 and then again on lap 7. James Shepherd, we saw him pit on lap 13. He may have used his second set. Matt Bowler, we know he has likely used his when he had that huge spin on lap 15. Mazomo's pitted on lap 17, so he's possibly used his. Also, Tyson Broad, he pitted on lap 17, so may have used his. And Jamie Dyke pitted on lap 15, so he may have used his as well. So, a few drivers that may have already used their second set of tyres or are onto their second set of tyres. Remembering that they only have the set they start with and one more set left in the pits.
Oh boy, there's going to be some interesting strategy twists and turns here as we get towards the end of this race. We're almost at halfway now, actually. Once we get to lap 37 and a half, then that will be 50% race distance covered. And hopefully there aren't too many more cautions. This is the 5th one of the night so far, as Tristo Yelland has also disconnected from the session after that spin. And that brings it up to 4 drivers that have retired so far. Mike Taliancic obviously getting bulk damage repaired in the pits. He has been stopped for a bit over 3 minutes now.
Yeah, I think Tristo had to use his spare car after that huge incident right at the start of the race. So Mike Taliancic also may have used his early as well. Matt Bowler has, from what I can see, used his second set of tyres, but has not used his spare car as we get ready to go. Interesting, Cameron Dance right to the inside. Job Stewart starting alongside him.
That's interesting to see. Well, it looks like the top 2 are going to be even as we go green again. Dance holding the inside into turn 1. And Cory Mcfarlane. Oh, Job Stewart. Oh, he got a bit of momentum there in the mid-corner, but he grazes the wall on exit. That's going to allow Mcfarlane by into second. I've also seen Bailey Fribb just behind trying to get by Daniel Yeaman for 4th. But there we go. Hopefully everyone can get into a rhythm at the moment. It looks like Dan Stevens is stopped on the inside of the circuit, and that was on the restart. Actually looks like there might have been maybe a hardware issue for him.
His PC's frozen. I can see it on the Zoom feed that I can't actually bring up on screen. His PC is frozen. He has no idea where he is.
Well, he'll be glad to know that he hasn't brought out a caution. He is on the grass, so we stay green. And it is Cameron Dance who leads the way by half a second from Cory Mcfarlane as there's racing here in the midfield. Goodness me, excellent stuff here. It's Chris Weitzel versus Bo Albert, who tries round the outside and manages to get up into 11th as Weitzel a little compromised on exit. Oh, it's going to be 3 wide. Brady Baldwin trying for the move here for 11th. 3 wide in the final turn as the caution comes out once again. What has gone on this time?
Like it may be Mike Taliancic who has brought out this one.
Yeah, Taliancic is missing his nose cone in the pits at the moment. And I've gone back to check. It's the same story as what happened with Tristo. He caught the curb in the final turn.
Way too much curb.
And collected the pit entry wall.
Actually, lucky/unlucky that we actually got a caution out of that. Big incident, no doubt about that, but just how close he was to being off the circuit. Been an interesting, bizarre race. We've had our first real change of position at the front with Job Stewart probably pushing too hard to try and get that position on Cam Dance at the restart and cost himself the position to Cory Mcfarlane.
Yes, indeed. I think that mindset has come into play because these drivers are aware that they're only getting short bursts of racing in between cautions. So maybe Job was thinking, I'll just give it 150% here versus Cam, see if I can get the lead, and then if there's any luck, another caution will come out, and then I'll hold on to it. But ultimately, it didn't work out for him that time.
The issue he's got now, he's got to work extra hard to try and get that spot because he's got two drivers that don't like giving up leads in races that are in 1 and 2 ahead of him. So, but Dance, McFarlane, Stewart all trying their hardest to try and get themselves P1 tonight. And of course, Job Stewart winning round 1, he'll be wanting to hold on to that championship lead.
Yeah, but Cam Dance is looking to get his championship back on track after a reasonably poor showing at round 1. He ended up picking up a penalty from race control for contact. And finally, Daniel Stevens' car exits the session. You can see him just trying to get back in at the moment on the Zoom feed there. And man, his posture and body language says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, he doesn't look too happy, does he? He's pretty disappointed because he was doing pretty well. He was just in the top 10. Sitting there quite nicely, and then to have something completely out of your control do things to you like that is very, very heartbreaking. So he'll get back in, he'll get back out there, but it's not the same, is it? You come to race, but to have stuff like that happen to you that completely out of your control is really disappointing, and really feel bad for him. But as you said, he'll get back out there very, very soon. He'll get back into racing rather quickly.
And the caution has been shortened. We have 1 lap to green now. Race control wanting to get back to racing action as soon as possible here, as we get the message that Dan Stevens has connected to the session. He's just loading up the sim now. He'll be, I'd say, 6, maybe 7 laps down by the time he gets back out onto the racetrack. And
get enough cautions, he'll get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt Bowler is a lap down, the leader of the cars that are a lap down or more, as we are about to go green once again. Pace car in the pits, and definitely more conventional here at the start. Single file, but Cory Mcfarlane gets a much better start. Did Cam Dance miss a gear or something there? Not too sure. McFarlane goes into the lead, but Dance is going to try and hold the outside here around turn 1 and get the lead back. McFarlane has to compromise. We've got a car spinning. That's going to bring out the caution once again, and a few cars involved in that. Stephen Grimmer gets spun around by sliding Blair Bowler. Looks like it was Chris Weitzel who ended up bringing that out. Actually made contact with Thomas Hinz at the exit of turn 1. Hinsey washed up into it.
They've been going at it pretty hard, those two. Remember, they had Dan Stevens in their little group as well. So, you know, of course, Chris was in that battle with Bo Albert not that long ago as well. And there you can see guys coming down. And as who was that drove off the circuit and came back on? Was that Blair Bowler, I think? Yeah, it was. Yeah, he went to the grass, unfortunately, in his attempt to get around the spinning car. Grass, of course, has very little grip. There he is on the grass, brakes. Another car. Just an unfortunate incident. Trying to do the right thing, and you end up making things worse, but not really much else he could have done. He either crashes into the car that's already spinning, or he tries to save it and crashes into someone else. It's just one of those unfortunate things that happen in oval racing.
Yeah, particularly on ovals that have grass on the inside.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, these cars are set up only to turn left. They've got the wheels leaning to the left-hand side on all 4 corners. So you try to turn right, or you get onto a surface that is not conducive to grip, and that's all that's going to happen. But Dan Stevens is back in the session. He's bringing it back into the lane, potentially to get some more damage repaired.
Hey, well, it's almost like it's Christmas again, isn't it? Like a Christmas tree, the amount of lights that he's got flashing. Absolutely love watching Dan's views that he gives us, because they are really cool to see how much he's invested into his sim. One of my favourite views that we get is watching Dan Stevens race.
Yeah, I'm amazed that that he finds a function for all of those buttons. When I'm racing, I only have a few buttons really set to change things like brake bias and maybe fuel map and the like, pit limiter obviously, and shift up and shift down. But man, I'm just amazed that there's so many functions available in that cockpit. How does he even know which buttons do what?
Yeah, look, I don't know. I was never really one to change bias or anything. I didn't know what it did, so he's doing better than me. I just pressed buttons and hoped that it worked. It's often my strategy. You should remember that from being my teammate back in the day. Never been my strong suit. We're past halfway, and fingers crossed we get a little bit of a green flag run, but I think a few drivers are probably trying to push a little bit too hard and try and make things happen too fast. Probably thinking, as you said before, hoping that another caution comes out, so try and capitalise when everyone's together, rather than stretch yourself out, get yourself into a rhythm, and then you can start to actually attack. So fingers crossed we start to see it settle down a little bit. We're down to only 30 drivers in the race, so we have lost a few cars.
Matt Bowler there waved around the pace car, and now's about the time that drivers are going to be thinking about getting it into the lane here in this final half of the event. As the pace car pulls in, it's another shortened caution here, with Cam Dance leading the way once again. He was in trouble on the last restart. Will he have sorted out that issue as we go green? And it's a good start there from the pursued car of Bailey Fried, but he can't get past Daniel Yeaman, as trying up the inside into turn one was David Coleman, trying to get 8th place from Sam Blacklock. Side by side just up ahead of him, Sebastian Flock. He got compromised on the exit of turn 2. That allows Blacklock and Capel by him. But Cam Dance will hold on to the lead here. Cory Mcfarlane a couple of lanes up, as it definitely looks like the closest racing is in the midfield at the moment. All lining up a move potentially is Blacklock up on Lachlan Capel, side by side between them, but Capel, firing it into the first turn, manages to maintain the position.
Just behind Bo Albert and Brady Baldwin, have just changed positions 3 times in one corner. They're still side by side, and they're catching Thomas Hinds at the same time. So Baldwin decides 10-3-4, not the spot to hold the outside. And Albert says thank you, gets the spot. Now he will battle with Thomas Hinds.
And Hinsey is carrying damage to his front wing from that contact with Chris Whitesell that brought out the last caution, so he is massively compromised on the front end, but Bo Albert cannot get by him there. Goodness me. Hinsey still managing to hold on to a great deal of pace despite the understeer he'll undoubtedly be suffering from. Does Albert manage to get by him this time? Bo Albert and Thomas Hinds certainly no strangers to each other in battles on track, and Bo will get the inside line here, pick up the throttle and complete the move. Nice. So yeah, very nice move indeed. Albert up into the top 10. Will Hinsey try and come back at him? I doubt it, knowing that he has the damage he has. He'll try and get that fixed at his next opportunity, as there's position changes here. Blacklock getting by Bailey Fried for 6th. Blacklock continuing his charge through the field. He's up 9 places now. Bo Albert up 15 if we're going to be talking about Altus Esports.
Yeah, Blacklock's been the fastest car out on track, other than the top 3. So Blacklock's looked really, really strong. But Chris Whitesell is around at turn 2 once again. And no contact with anyone. Looks like it's just a solo spin. We bring out caution number, I've lost count.
6.
Glad you're keeping record, because I can't remember. I think it's more than 6.
7. I forgot to note it down. I am keeping a tally of the amount of cautions that we have.
Make sure you keep crossing those I's and dotting those T's. Yes, I know I said that wrong, but I always do.
Of course.
Top 11 haven't pitted yet.
Yeah, everyone else has come into the pits at least once. Will we see anyone in the top 11 come into the pits under this caution?
The issue you've got with coming in at the front by yourself is track position. The issue you've got if you don't come in is weaker tyres than those around you. So Brady Baldwin, the lead car that has pitted, he pitted on lap 1. Thomas Hinds has come in. He's decided that front nose cone needs some fixing.
Indeed, no surprise there. You could see the amount of time he was losing to everyone else on that green flag run. Will he take this opportunity to change tyres and fuel as well? He is up on the jacks, and if he's in the pits for more than 7 seconds, well, he's not. So no tyre change that time. maybe just topping up the fuel a little bit, definitely getting that nose cone repaired.
Yeah, I think the extra time was the nose cone as opposed to the tyres. 8.3 second stop, so... although in saying that, did he use the spare as opposed to doing an actual nose cone change? No, he just changed the nose cone, so he's still got a spare car available if he needs it. Still got that fast repair.
And with that 8.3 second stop time, might it be possible that he took tyres? Because 7 seconds, definitely within that window.
I have even just taken 2. To see, we'll try and just work that out as we go. Only 30 laps left, so top 10 haven't pitted. We go from now till the end. These guys are going to have to pit under green with 10 to go. Fingers crossed we see it, because that would be awesome if we got to that point.
Indeed it would. The drivers will have to wait once again here. Spent an awful lot more time tonight coasting around in 6th behind the pace car.
Oh, we've got a shout out to David Coleman apparently, currently P9. It's his birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, David.
Doing a good job in 9th. Lead of the fishy cars out there. We'll hit the green this time because the caution lights have come off the pace car. And we'll go green early. What I want to see. Thank you to Tom Wilkinson, who's in the session as race control for tonight. He's decided to whip the yellows off the top of the pace car. Get going.
A little bit of discussion going on in the session about how you need to conduct your pit entry under caution. You do have to maintain your spot in the queue, even though pit entry is shorter than the racing surface. But the pace car is in. Cory Mcfarlane shadowing Cameron Dance here, getting up to the restart. And unfortunately, a bit more momentum will go Joe Stewart's way. He's going to sneak up here and try and have a run at second coming into turn 1. He's definitely going to take that. But Mcfarlane pushing very hard around the outside. Oh, just enough room being given around the outside. Stewart, I think, a little bit frustrated here. He wants to try and get that lead back, try and get that win, but it's not entirely going his way here. Bit of understeer, aero push in turns 3 and 4. Single file running as they make their way onto lap 49 of 75. It's a good run from Sam Blacklock through turns 1 and 2. He's right on the back now of Lachlan Capel and looking to get up into 5th.
He's done a great job, hasn't he? Just continually getting a spot. Almost every restart he's gaining a spot, so he's done a brilliant job. Currently up 9 into 6th position. By his standards, he'll be disappointed with how qualifying went. Qualifying way back in 15th, but no matter how you qualify, if you've got good race pace, there's a couple of shuffling positions. It's Brady Carr through on Simon Mazzomo. Teammate, positional swaps. Nathan Norman ahead of his teammate Brady Baldwin. Brady Carr ahead of his teammate Simon Mazzomo.
Have a look at the car there. He was really having a go at it, and also having a go is Cory Mcfarlane and Cameron Dance. As the spring flag run continues, Mcfarlane staying wide in turns 1 and 2, working his tyres a little bit less hard now. Having a run at the lead.
Oh no.
Oh, the caution came out just before he could go for it. It was that Tyson Broad spinning and with heavy damage. Wondering if there are any other cars involved in that. The car is not turning at all.
Interesting that outside line starting to work. Oh, he's just had to check up. Oh, Danson's involved. Matt Danson's lost his rear wing. And he is out of the race. He's already exited stage right. The only other car involved. But that outside line that we're seeing Cory Mcfarlane start to take. Remember we saw Cameron Dance start to do that a little earlier. I'm wondering if Mcfarlane saw, hey, Dance was getting that to work. Maybe I need to give that a crack. And Mcfarlane looks stronger than what Dance did earlier.
Yeah, and look at that faking coming into pit road. That's one of the typical mind games you see here in oval racing. Trying to catch your rivals out, force them to commit to a pit stop and lose track position. But yeah, that outside line through turns 1 and 2 seems to be the way to go. Not only are you working the tyres a little bit less, you're also widening the arc of the corner somewhat and allowing yourself a bit more mid-corner momentum, which translates into a great run down the back stretch as well. So Mcfarlane, he's certainly lining that up on Cameron Dance. Will we see that happen here in the final 20 laps?
Brady Baldwin's brought his car into the pits. Also got Ben Johnson coming in. Remember, Ben hit it on lap 1 after that original start incident, so he'll be coming in likely to get his tyres and a bit of fuel now. The fact that the top 10 haven't pitted yet says to me that they're going to try as hard as they can to get this all the way to the end. They're going to try.
Yeah, potential no-stop strategy. That would be interesting. But will they have enough on fuel is the big question. I'll just notch off another strike on my tally. This is the 8th caution of the night, as far as I'm aware.
I reckon we've missed.
All right, we'll bump it up to 9.
Let's just make it.
Yeah. Do all the work in advance.
This is the 9th caution. ART says. So. Oh, thought we were... I've lost count in my head as well. Lights are hopefully going to go off the pace car now. We'll see if guys in race control can tell Barney's brother to turn the lights off and come in.
Doesn't look like that's the case. And since we're already in turn 1, if they do it now, we'll still have to complete another lap here before we go green again. Tyson Broad, meanwhile, he popped into the pits to get his spare car on, and he's coming back in once again, probably to get some more service done on that machine.
Lights are out on the pace car, so we are going to go green this time.
Oh, all right. We are indeed. Yeah, looks like Broad might have topped up the fuel a little bit there. But through the final corner then, Cameron Dance all the way up to the outside wall. Pace car will jump on in, and Dance has waited until the green flag on every restart so far. Looks like it's going to be the case here once again. Job Stewart will hopefully try and take advantage. Oh, yeah, a couple people have missed it. Up the inside of Sam Blacklock goes Bailey Frid to grab 6th place, but Blacklock with the pace he's shown. Oh, contact! Frid's in the wall. This is going to be another caution for sure. Bailey Frid with heavy damage. He's actually still moving. He hasn't come to a stop. Hopefully he'll be able to get it into the pit lane. That's certainly not going to be fun for any of the drivers trying to find their way around him. And Frid, is he going to miss pit entry? Not too sure. He's touring around the track very slowly at the moment. He's going to have to stay another lap out there with the front right corner of the car gone.
I don't think he can get it out of the wall to try and get it into the pit, so he's going to have to try and limp it around. Caution's coming out. Brady Baldwin's had an issue in the chute between 2 and 3. Is the track a little exit off to the freeway? Bailey Frid will be happy that that's come out. There he is, right on cue.
Yeah, certainly. We'll get another look at that incident for Brady Baldwin. Oh, goodness me. Is that a checkup?
Chris Weitzel had a little moment just ahead of him. And all of a sudden he had nowhere to go. But we get another look at this for Bailey Frid. As you said, thought there was contact. I think you're right. Who was the offending party here with the contact?
Well, Frid managed to get up the inside of Blacklock, and I don't know if we'll be able to see much of it from this perspective.
That's a huge hit in the wall.
It is. I think, yeah, this will be a good view of this. Blacklock holding the outside and maintained his line. Looks like Frid might have just washed up.
I'll tell you what, that's lucky for Sam Blacklock that he didn't end up in the fence as well.
Yeah,
Huge incident.
very lucky indeed for Sam, all things considered. He is now in 5th, up 10 places.
Another spot at the restart. Against caution, he's up 10 spots.
Thanks for reminding me. One more strike on the tally.
I've been told a few officials this week have gone with 10 cautions over 75 laps, so hopefully that's the limit. We go green to the end. Well, hopefully go green all the way to the end. I'm going to see if we can get a look at Sam Blacklock's car when he comes around again. See if there's any damage to that outside pod. Because with that contact, it could have given a little bit of damage, side pod damage to Sam Blacklock's car. If it did, his flying lap that we did see there wasn't affected by pace too much, but we do go, say, even 10 laps, that'll really start to be a big impact in his race if it has caused damage.
I'm scanning my chase cam around him now, and it looks like he might have gotten away with it. I'm not seeing any visual damage on his car.
No, I think it might have been wheel to wheel. So rear right into front left. Yeah, you're right. Looks like he's okay. So that's very, very lucky.
Rear left into front right,
Yes, you knew what I meant.
Yeah. Blacklock, of course, being on the outside and looking at that rear left, well, obviously the way the camber has been set up can be a little misleading, but yeah, I'm not seeing too much wrong there with the Aldous Esports number 215, but changed the caution again. It's been shortened once more, so the pace car will make its way in here at the end of this lap. And fingers crossed, we go green all the way to the end. So we want to see a good long green flag run here to finish things off in round 2 of Fixed Indy Australia, presented by Aussie Online Gaming and ourselves here at SimSpeed TV. Cameron Dance will wait till the green once more, and away they go. It's another good run from Job Stewart off the restart. He dives to the inside of Cory Mcfarlane and has the overlap coming into turn 1 and gets the position, no problem, as Blacklock trying his best to defend here. He's gained one more position on Sebastian Flock. Cory Mcfarlane and Job Stewart side by side for second place. Job Stewart putting the defence on magnificently and gets the inside line through turns 3 and 4, but will Mcfarlane try and get him back here into turns 1 and 2? Certainly will. They'll be swapping positions here and allowing Cameron Dance potentially to get away. Stewart just holding on to the car there around the outside. Mcfarlane maintaining the position. They've been side by side for pretty much a full lap now. Fantastic racing for second place here. And Mcfarlane just moves ahead of Job Stewart coming through into the final turn, but that has given Cameron Dance a huge benefit. He now leads by 6/10 as it's side by side a bit further back. It looks like Bo Albert almost came under pressure from Lachlan Capel, but has managed to defend from him there. And it's looking very close for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Dan Yeaman and Sam Blacklock are starting to creep up here on Job Stewart. And will Blacklock be able to make a move here? No, he won't, because the cautions come back out. That's Simon Mazzomo, one of the cars involved, as well as Brady Baldwin. And it looks like Brady might have been the one to cause that oversteer on the entry into turn 1, getting off the throttle onto the brakes and maybe a little bit less grip on the outside. And this is the result. Poor Simon Mazzomo involved in this through no fault of his own.
Brady tried to gather it up to make sure he didn't hit the wall, and in gathering it up, caused a secondary slide. This guy's struggling with grip, and tyres are starting to really hurt at this point too, so tyre life, tyre conservation, tyre management definitely starting to be an impact and a factor in this race. You're saying before that we want to see a nice long green flag run. I'll tell you who doesn't, is the front 9 who haven't pitted yet. They'll be wanting another caution and probably one more to make sure that they've got enough fuel to get it home as we're on caution number 11. This really does hurt them if we go green to the end, because they may not make it on fuel.
Yeah, I had that point in the back of my head, but didn't have time to get to it before we went green again, and all of that magnificent racing for second place happened between Mcfarlane and Stewart. This is certainly going to be a tough one here for our top 9 cars. Of course, the leader of the cars that have pitted now is Nathan Norman in 10th, part of the high-octane SimSport crew. And he last pitted on lap 1, so he
probably doesn't count, does it?
Yeah, actually, yeah, he might have the same fuel situation as the top 9. Brady Carr, but definitely the one to gain the most benefit if everyone in front of him pits.
He pitted, as it says there, lap 17. His pit stop was 30 seconds, so he pitted for fuel, tyres, damage repair, still have his spare car available, his fast repair available, so he could be in a good spot here if something happens at the front, 1, and 2, if we do go green and these guys are so tight on fuel. But the word I was getting, 10 cautions, they still had to pit for fuel, but not much. We're now at 11. If we get to 12, I think that may be pretty close to being enough.
Well, I suppose the top 10 will have their fingers crossed that someone makes a mistake, and hopefully not one of them.
Oh, one thing I wanted to mention as well is how good Mcfarlane has looked through the exit off turn 2. That cars on the inside, he's looked really strong going around them on the outside, and we saw Job Stewart try the outside, and Mcfarlane was able to get past on the inside. So Mcfarlane's really got the exit of turn 2 worked out, something that not many other drivers have worked out yet in this race. I think if Mcfarlane can time this start, I think Cam Dance might be a little bit worried.
Yeah, he certainly has reason to be. Job Stewart, I've noticed, has been hanging back on these restarts to try and get a bit of extra momentum when the green flag flies, and it's the whole reason why he and Mcfarlane were battling so hard. But Mcfarlane might have his head screwed on here as the green flag flies, and yeah, he gets a better start than Dance. He gets alongside, he won't make the move before the line, so he is clear, and up to the inside goes Cory Mcfarlane. Will Cameron be able to hold it? Around the outside, yes, that outside line in turns 1 and 2 is simply brilliant for pace, and Joe Stewart right there to take advantage as Dance goes defensive versus these two guys ahead of, or behind him rather. Stewart way down to the inside in turns 3 and 4 and maintains second place versus Cory Mcfarlane. Cameron Dance now breaking the draft. He knows that he's in trouble here for the lead of this race, and they'll be hoping that they get at least one more caution here in the final 10 laps of the race. We are 9 to go.
Oh, Albert's made some moves in that restart. He's got himself up to 6. Sam Blacklock was under threat from his teammate in Bo Albert, but wasn't able to get it done in the end. So they've all settled back in the single file. But this front 3 are well and truly on. And Dan Yeaman has backed up a tiny little bit. I think just to watch, wait, and potentially plan a move, or hope that the mistake happens ahead and he can get past.
Mcfarlane and Stewart still incredibly close here, but Mcfarlane can't get up alongside in time. He's going to go to the outside in turns 3 and 4, try and get a good run onto the start-finish stretch, or maybe give himself an extra bit of space for extra momentum in the draft, as it's way on here for 7th place. Lachlan Capel holding up Sebastian Fopp
Dan
and David
Yeaman.
Coleman. Oh no! That's going to be the caution that the rest of the top 10 needed. Dan Yeaman with massive damage from that crash, and oh, this is going to be heartbreaking. He did that all by himself, and it's similar to what happened to Brady Baldwin. Turning in for turns 1 and 2, the rear end just broke free, and that was all she wrote. And poor Nathan Norman got caught up in that as well.
So here's Yeaman around. Here comes Norman on the outside beside Brady Carr. Do I hit Brady, who's at speed, or do I just have to go in and take the impact? I guess the positive for Nathan was, oh no, he's just used his spare car then, so he had
That's Matt Bowler in the background as well.
Yeah, Bowler. What happened with Bowler? How did he get involved in that? Yeah. Oh, there's a secondary incident there.
Oh, okay.
Michael Whiting involved in that one. 2 fishy cars involved, actually.
Goodness.
Wow. Need another look at that bit.
Yes.
So who was the other fishy car involved there?
Looks to me like it was Jamie Dyke.
This is Dyke. Oh, so
Yeah,
he's had to
Dyke
get on the
spun
brake.
avoiding it.
Yeah, got on the brake trying to... Oh, bowler, look at that impact.
Oh. Wow. So everything going wrong here for many drivers in the final stages. That is big heartbreak for Fishy Motorsport. And of course for Matt Bowler as well, who has been in the wars here at Pursuit Sim Racing. We get the on board from him now. Going through 1 and 2, you'll see the incident happen ahead. And oh man, there was nothing he could do.
Nah, too far gone. By the time he got on the brake, he was already heading straight for the car that was in the wall. So that's painful to watch. But yeah, unfortunate. Going to restart. Looks like with 3 laps to go. Caution number 12.
That is, yes, just about to say caution number 12. So I guess everyone in the top 8 now will be hoping that they have the fuel to go to the end. I would imagine that they do, otherwise we would have seen them in the pits here to top up their tanks. But they are going to be able to make it on 0 stops here at Gateway.
Fingers crossed get the restart this lap. Race control, Sebastian Flock getting told off by race control for leaving too much of a gap at the restart, so he's getting in a little bit of trouble. Well, that was the previous restart. That restart just there, he was getting himself involved in the action, so probably realised I was backing up a little bit too much. Then finding himself well and truly in the fight.
You'll also note those 2 dark Altus Esports Indy cars now in 4th and 5th, Sam Blacklock and Bo Albert. An incredible run through the field for both of those guys. They didn't have the best run in qualifying, but they've managed to avoid all of the carnage here in the race and get themselves up into a fantastic position as the lights are off on the pace car, and Cameron Dance will control the start for what we hope will be the final time tonight, coming up to 3 laps to go here at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. And Job Stewart hanging back a bit on the restart. Cory Mcfarlane right on the back of him. Stewart gets on the throttle nicely, but McFarlane's in a bit of trouble here. Sam Blacklock getting up the inside of him into turn 1, and it's going to be Altus on the podium potentially. Blacklock keeping it stable over the curb, almost catches the quarter of McFarlane, and he has to go defensive here as his teammate gets a good run and gets alongside him coming into turns 3 and 4. Dance is in the lead by some margin, and all the Altus cars almost making side-by-side contact. Don't race each other too hard, guys. You've worked this hard. Don't ruin it now, as into turn 1 they come once more. And wow, Lachlan Cable getting right amongst it here, but he's got to watch out for Sebastian Flock and David Coleman up behind him. David Coleman, the birthday boy. But up the front, Cameron Dance is going to get the white flag here, and he has enough of a gap over Job Stewart that I think he can just take his lines.
No cautions from now.
No cautions from now indeed. If there's any crashes, the yellow won't come out. Cameron Dance in the lead now by half a second over Job Stewart. Can Cory Mcfarlane ever run at him coming into the final corner is the big question. We keep our eyes focused on the Altus Esports drivers trying their best to keep Lachlan Cable behind, but Cameron Dance will cross the line in P1, led all the way here at Gateway through 12 cautions. Brilliant stuff there at the finish. Albert and Blacklock, well, Albert actually gaining the position on Blacklock there to take 4th, with Capel completing the top 6. Oh my goodness.
What a race. What a great finish to what was a frustrating night for pretty much everyone, but the fact that we got a green flag finish and a good battle at the front to finish it off. And even with all of the cautions, we still saw some huge movers. Bo Albert plus 21, Blacklock plus 10, Brady Carr plus 11, Tyson Broad plus 17, Isaac Edwards plus 14. That's awesome in such a tough race at such a tough track.
Absolutely. Well, Cameron Dance with his victory donuts. This is going to more than make up for his first round at Road America, and Cory Mcfarlane as well, taking third and making good on his potential. But I think one of the biggest winners out of this is second place finisher Job Stewart. He's kept up a good run of points here in the first half of the season, and he should hold on to the championship lead out of that.
Yeah, definitely, because Cameron Dance didn't have a great round one, so the championship lead should stay with Job Stewart. But very, very long season, still 6 rounds to go. But what a fun race that was, and we'll go through the results.
We will indeed. So your top 3, Cameron Dance, Job Stewart and Cory Mcfarlane, Bo Albert and Sam Blacklock weaving their way through the field and keeping out of trouble. That seemed to have been the most crucial thing tonight here at Gateway to complete the top 5, with Capel in 6th. Sebastian Flock comes home in 7th, 4 down from where he started, but still holding on for that. And birthday boy David Coleman finishes in 8th, with Brady Carr and James Shepherd rounding out the top 10, plus 11 and plus 4 each.
And then we've got Bailey Frid, who finishes in 11th in the end despite some issues. Good result from where he was at one point in the race. Dalton Green finishes in 12th. Blake Delaney, who's involved in a couple of issues himself, finishes in 13th. Chris Whitesall, who had all sorts of dramas getting the exit at turn 2 right, does pick up a top 14 in the end. Tyson Broad, one of the biggest movers as well, finishes 15th. Ben Johnson and Isaac Edwards, the last 2 drivers on the lead lap. Then our lap down cars start from position number 18 with Dan Yeaman, Simon Grimer, and Stephen Grimer, I should say, and Blair Bowler.
Thomas Hinz had to pit under caution to repair his front wing. He's going to come home in 21st, 2 laps down. Same story for Simon Mazzomo and Adrian Vlock. Michael Whiting, Matt Bowler and Jamie Dyke are classified 6 laps down. 3 of many cars involved in the cautions tonight. 7 laps down for Nathan Norman and 9 down for Dan Stevens, though it seems he was able to get it to the finish after his PC froze. 29th, Brady Baldwin with that late spin. And the first of our retirements, Matt Danson, rounding out the top 30. And it wasn't a run to the finish either for Mike Taliancic, Tristo Yelland, Matt Distel and Caleb Hides. Unfortunately for Jason Close, he wasn't even able to make the start due to his network issues. Well, that's going to bring to an end the racing for tonight, and we're waiting for our drivers here to come in for interviews. Certainly there's going to be a lot to talk about for these drivers, probably not in a racing sense, but definitely in a strategy sense, because they were able to make it to the end with absolutely no stops. And I didn't quite think this race was going to be the caution fest it was. At the same time, I'm still very surprised that they were able to make it.
Yeah, I'm a bit with you. I mean, I was told all week that 50 laps is about all you're going to get, but then as you said, the number of cautions probably surprised a few. They were sort of hoping that it might get to that point and they could stay out in front, but the green flag racing we had, when we had some, made up for the many cautions. I think it was some great racing. Awesome battle right at the end there between Blacklock, Albert, Capel, Block, Coleman, those guys right at the end with a 3-wide finish as well. That was pretty cool, and some great moves throughout the field as well. But next week we head to Vegas, a wide open high bank track. I think that is going to be brilliant. I think we'll see a little bit better racing. I think we'll see a few more less yellow flag period.
Yeah, Las Vegas Motor Speedway initially was known for pack racing in the previous era of Indy Car, but certainly I'm looking forward to seeing how it races here in Fixed Indy Australia. We do have our race winner in the comms booth with us now. Cameron Dance joins us in car number 6 for TechSense Fitstein Motorsports. Congratulations, Cam. Led all the way. I think the sheer amount of cautions we had might have helped a little.
Yeah, it certainly did a little bit. Obviously, a bit unfortunate that it was plagued by cautions, but we'll take the victory. Absolutely awesome to get a win on the board after a little bit of a mediocre start. But we'll take it. Obviously, not the way we really hoped to win, but it is what it is.
How much fuel did you have at the end? Because me and Jay were saying that you guys in the top 9, top 10 might have been thinking about fuel being an issue.
Yeah, it was certainly an issue. I mean, based on the number of cautions we had, we were able to get home well and truly safe. I think I had about like 12, just under 10 litres when I crossed the line to finish the race. So, yeah, there was still plenty of fuel in the tank and we could have gone a few more laps. But it certainly was looking like there was going to need to be a pit stop made at some point early on, with the fact that we got that little bit of a longer green flag run and then a few cautions obviously helped us. So, yeah, it was going to be a little bit touch and go depending on what happened with the rest of the race. I think if we went green a little bit longer, those who pitted and did a splash and dash earlier on in the start of the race might have actually had an advantage. But yeah, it just worked out the way it did. And fortunately, it was in the way of our hands.
Well, it wasn't the best start for you at Road America to start off the season, but definitely in with a shot now with this result here at Gateway. And we've got quite a few ovals in a row before we go back to road course racing. We know from the majors and the like that you're very strong in Indy Car on ovals. So are you feeling optimistic here for the mid-season?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, we know we've got pace on the ovals especially, and obviously we've driven this car a reasonable amount on the road courses as well. So, yeah, looking forward to the rest of the season. There's some decent tracks, and there's going to be some challenging ones as well. So, looking forward to it and seeing what the rest of the season can hold.
Well, congratulations once again, Cam. Before we let you go, any shout-outs or sponsors? Who gets it done for you?
Yeah, just first of all, shout out to the boys at TechSense Fixed Indy Motorsport, as always. Now, sponsors and partners, TechSense Sensors, River Harnesses, Demon Tweaks, Fight CRC, Sim3D. You guys obviously putting on an awesome broadcast. Dan and the team for putting on an awesome series, and all the drivers putting on some awesome racing. And yeah, we'll see what happens next week.
Indeed we shall. Wishing you the best of luck next week at Las Vegas. Cameron Dance finishing P1 there. And considering the amount of time we have left, Jay, that might be... Oh, no, Cory Mcfarlane has just jumped in. We'll grab him. All right, Cory Mcfarlane. Third place finish here, up 2, and certainly you had your hands full with Job Stewart there in the second half.
Yeah, apart from when we went under SE, it was decently fun up the front, but not much to say apart from that, really.
Yeah, understandable. It was a bit of a caution fest, 12 cautions in total. Did you guys expect that coming into this round?
I didn't know what to expect, really. The only time I've done ovals was for a bit of a laugh and that, with a few mates, so I don't really know what the go is with ovals and safety cars and all that, but I certainly wasn't expecting 12, so it was a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, as I said, understandable. Well, we go to Vegas next week. I suppose with the lack of familiarity with ovals, you're just going to take it a round at a time.
Yeah, mainly just looking forward to getting back to a road course, but yeah, it's something different, something to learn, so it's quite enjoyable. Yeah, just see how we go in the next one.
All right, well, before we let you go, Cory, anyone you'd like to thank from your team?
Yeah, thanks to Send It Sim Sports and everyone back there. It's a great team full of really good people and enjoying it a lot there. Thank you to all the team sponsors as well as Mackenzie's Mini Earthworks, Transworks and Gigante and EMSSS. And thanks to Daniel and that for putting on another great league. It's unfortunately didn't go so great today, but yeah, they did put a lot of work behind the scenes, and thank you to them.
Certainly did, and definitely had their work cut out for them in race control tonight. That was Cory Mcfarlane finishing third, and finally we have our second place finisher, Job Stewart. Well, the results screen, Job, shows you and Cam in the same positions as you started, but that isn't even the tip of the iceberg. You definitely had to do a lot of work there in between the cautions.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing with the cautions, but we still had a fairly good battle with Cam there at the start, and then also at the end with Cory, it was a pretty good battle for second place. So yeah, overall it was not a bad race.
I noticed that the outside line was really coming into its own as the race went on.
Yeah, definitely. I think on the restarts was the main spot where you'd look to get an overtake, and the outside, you definitely want to be on the outside. I'm going into turn 1 and around that last corner there just to get the best run.
Well, what kind of approach are you hoping to take to Vegas next week? Have you thought much about it yet?
Not really. I think just same as this time, try and qualify at the front, which is the main thing, is it's so hard to pass on these ovals, and then just see where it goes from there.
well, still holding on to the championship lead as well with the second place finish. So certainly you've got the momentum coming into the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's good to be in the lead. I think there's a few guys close behind. Cory had a good result at Road America as well, so he'll be right close behind me, I'm sure. But yeah, looking forward to it.
As are we. Before we let you go, Job, anyone you'd like to thank at Pursuit?
Yeah, just thanks to Pursuit Sim Racing for all the hard work and dedication that they put into these series and other series.
Well, thanks very much for joining us, Job Stewart. And that's going to round out our broadcast for tonight, Jay. Once again, we go to Las Vegas next week, but tomorrow on SimSpeed TV, we've got the first round of the Majors International Division coming up. Well, Watkins Glen 2 hour. I'm looking forward to getting another season of the Majors underway. Yeah, and we'll see a few of the same names back again as well from last season. A few names that we saw tonight. It's going to be very, very fun. Decent field again. IMSA cars for round one, so prototype and the GT3, or sorry, the GTD. Is that right? GT Daytona or GT? Yeah,
no, GTLM. So. I can't remember what they call it in their silly series, but it's GT3 cars and the LMP2 anyway. So that's what we're going to see at Watkins Glen. Of course, the rescan of Watkins Glen as well has been absolutely amazing. So looking forward to that. And as we said as well, next Friday night, we'll be back again with more in Indy Fixed Australia with an attempt to have a few long green flag runs at Las Vegas. Hoping that we get some good green flag runs there indeed. Well, thanks very much everyone for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube so you don't miss another broadcast. If this is your first time watching SimSpeed TV, welcome, and we hope that you stay on board. We've got racing every single week here on SimSpeed TV. I'm Reese Gardner. It was Jay Kennedy alongside me in the comms box and directing, controlling the cameras, making everything happen behind the scenes. Thanks very much for watching once again. This was Aussie Online Gaming's Fixed Indy Australia from Gateway.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my God! Big crash! Oh my goodness! Half the field's gonna get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go. Oh no!
That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?